let's say a founder comes and says, I've got this idea for app, 30 features, and you want to boil it down, push it to almost, do it nothing. How do you do that? Like I'm starting with 30 things that I want this to do. What's the process? Is it just talking, coaching? Like, how would you guide someone to go from 30 down to the one thing?
Well, from case to case, but there's another example I can give you. It's very interesting team. They're doing this hair, African hair, you know, like those who can do that come to those who need it. And in Norway, for example, it's not very popular. So those who have that kind of need, they don't find a salon for that. So it's freelancers who do that. And in their list, they had quite a lot of features. And one of the features was that people could sell courses, like those who cut the hair could sell the course on how to cut the hair. And I'm like, and they had a lot of features there like that. And I said, like, look, you have to really look at your feature list as a pyramid where everything sits on top of the main thing, right? You can't bring the course generating thing before you have all the people. It's not like people will come because of that. That's more like building on top of what works. But there's usually very few things that create initial traction, initial magnetism. And I said, like, in your case, you have to figure out what's that. And I just asked them, like, they have like long list, and I say, is this that? Like, if you start only this, imagine you launch only this feature, nothing else. Would it work? They're saying like, no. And if you ask yourself about every feature, stand alone, like only this, nothing else, if it can be launched, and if the answer is no, probably do not launch it at the beginning. Right? Launch only something what could be launched on its own. And then we ended up having like very short list, extremely, like, for example, there was like a homepage, on the homepage, they had like maybe 15 tasks about, map, pin, filters, like a lot of things. And I'm like, now how many people are going to have there in the beginning? Maybe 10, like just list them. Like just plain list because it's 10, right? Like you can just scroll. They're like, true. Right? I think it's very often I see that founders make a mistake that it's almost like they came to the shop where everything is free and they have to grab as much as they can and leave, and they can't come back. And they're just, what if? But in fact, you can build things later, maybe if you need them, but start with only things that you couldn't launch without and things that could be launched on their own.
That's amazing. I've never heard it that way. Beautiful advice. I'm going to put it into my toolkit. When I work with founders, identify. So break down all your features and analyze and really ask yourself some tough questions. Can this feature be launched, on its own? Can we boil it down to the one thing and eliminate the rest that you're not going to need it for that stage? Like, and that's assuming that the founder has identified the problem, the target market, the underserved, need, the pain point, and figured out, okay, here's our value proposition, but what's the one feature that's going to get you there on its own? Prioritization is the key. I love it. Okay. So that's great advice.